Hello everyone. Volkswagen is an 87-year-old brand and has been one of the biggest car companies in the world for more than 50 years. The Volkswagen Beetle sold over 23 million cars and dominated the global car market between 1960s to 1990s. And not just in the 20th century. The rise of Volkswagen Motors continued in the 21st century as they beat the global leader Toyota and sold the highest number of cars in the world. But friends, what if I tell you that Volkswagen's manufacturing site was destroyed to pieces even before it started? And furthermore, everyone in the world hated the brand due to its connection to the Nazi Germany. So a brand that was completely destroyed and universally hated by everyone went on to become the largest automaker group in the world. Let us understand what is the story of the rise of Volkswagen from the ashes, and as business students and new age entrepreneurs, what lessons can we learn today from the rise of Volkswagen? Friends, do you know what Pareto Principle is? It is also called the 80-20 rule. Now, according to this Pareto Principle, 80% of the consequences come from 20% causes. Or in an easy language, the 80% output in any given situation comes from 20% input. A very famous example of this Pareto Principle is when Steve Jobs saved Apple from bankruptcy. Now, back in 1997, Apple was struggling financially and creatively, and hence Steve Jobs, who was once removed from his own company Apple, was brought back as the CEO. Now, since Apple was on the verge of bankruptcy, Steve had to act fast. So the first thing Steve Jobs did was discontinued 80% of the total lineup of products that were underperforming in the market. This freed up the time, resources, and money spent on making these products and instead utilized them in improving the remaining 20% of the products lineup.
I think we have a very clear target on where we're going in that regards, and we think profitability is very important.
This one simple strategy refocused the dying Apple company, and from reporting a loss of $1 billion in 1997, Apple reported a healthy profit of $309 million just 1 year later in 1998. So this Pareto principle has been used by leaders time and again to prioritize, to focus on what's the best and get rid of the rest. Now, this Pareto principle is the only reason that Volkswagen brand exists today. Volkswagen was started in 1938 by the German government. Volkswagen literally meant people's car, and that was the main goal, to make small and affordable cars for the people. But due to the breakout of the Second World War from 1939 to 1944, the production of cars was halted, and this manufacturing site was completely ruined by the time the war ended. In fact, the Volkswagen manufacturing site was so destroyed that the American car company Ford refused to buy it for free. Ford did not buy the Volkswagen manufacturing unit for free, as they felt that Volkswagen plant was absolutely nothing but a destroyed factory that will require a lot of money for renovation, let alone manufacture cars. So when everyone passed on the opportunity to buy or invest money in Volkswagen, the German government assigned Heinrich Nordhoff, a German engineer with previous work experience at BMW, to revive the destroyed manufacturing unit, in case that was still a possibility. Now, interestingly, Nordhoff, the German engineer, thought that while reviving the entire Volkswagen manufacturing unit was impossible, it was possible to revive just one car. And that's exactly what he did. Nordhoff used all the time, resources, and money on updating just one car, the car that we know today as Volkswagen Beetle. So friends, if you now understand how Heinrich Nordhoff revived Volkswagen brand from ashes using this Pareto principle, let's move ahead and understand the second phase of the meteoric rise of Volkswagen using the 4 P's of marketing framework: product, price, place, and promotion. Now, Nordhoff was given the task to revive the destroyed manufacturing unit of Volkswagen in 1948, and he successfully revived the Volkswagen Beetle and started exporting the car from Germany to European countries like Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, and Switzerland, as well as South American countries like Brazil. This gave Volkswagen the much needed revenue to expand further. However, the biggest market of affluent customers in the 1950s was the United States of America. The USA in the 1950s had 3 major reasons that made them the biggest market. First, while a lot of European countries as well as countries like Japan were still recovering from the devastation of World War II, the USA emerged as an industrial base and was responsible for more than half of the world's industrial production. Second, the US dollar became world's reserve currency. This was called the Bretton Woods system, established in 1944. This supremacy of the US dollar further expanded USA's economic influence in the world. And third, due to this industrial production and economic influence of US dollar, the citizens of America became affluent customers with rising household incomes, which led to everyone buying their own homes, which led to everyone buying luxury items like cars, televisions, household appliances, etc. Hence, due to these three main reasons, USA was the biggest market in the world in the 1950s. Now, naturally, Nordhoff wanted to expand Volkswagen to USA, but it was not as simple as expanding the brand to European countries or South American countries, because firstly, the Americans directly related the Volkswagen brand to its Nazi Germany roots. Second, the Americans were living a lavish life and were investing in bigger, luxurious cars and were simply not interested in a small German car they knew nothing about. Third, Volkswagen's small-sized car cost pretty much similar to the luxurious local American cars like Ford, Chevrolet and Cadillac due to the high export costs. And lastly, buying a Volkswagen car was risky investment for Americans, as there were no local dealerships who would fix these German cars if there was a maintenance issue. And if there was an issue, new parts had to be shipped all the way from Germany, which further added to the maintenance costs. Now, to overcome these reasons, Nordhoff made decisions that are very easy to understand using the 4 P's framework: product, price, place and promotion. First, the product. In order to separate Volkswagen from its Nazi Germany roots, Nordhoff established a subsidiary of Volkswagen in the USA and called it Volkswagen Group of America. Now, this was a bold move not done by Volkswagen in any other country. This was done in order to distance the brand from its original roots. So, point 1 was taken care of. Second, the place. Nordhoff expanded the footprint of this American subsidiary of Volkswagen in different parts of the country. This ensured that the turnaround time for vehicles as well as the cost of service and maintenance was extremely affordable. Point 4 was taken care of. Next, the price. Now, just like the expansion of Volkswagen Group of America made the services and maintenance affordable, subsequently the prices of the car also reduced. So, while a Cadillac Eldorado costed around $7,000 in 1950s, which would be around $75,000 today, a Ford Fairlane and Chevrolet Bel Air costed around $1,900 to $2,300 in 1950s, which would be around $21,000 to $25,000 today. A Volkswagen Beetle costed just about $1,500 to $1,800, which would be approximately around $16,000 to $19,000 today. The pricing was finally in favor of the small size of Volkswagen Beetle, and the people slowly started buying the Beetle car. Point 3 was taken care of. Soon, people also realized that Volkswagen Beetle is an extremely fuel-efficient car, and its sales took off in the United States of America. So Volkswagen went from selling 600 Beetle cars in 1952 to a staggering 120,000 Beetle cars in 1959. And the most important fact is, Volkswagen increased the sales of Beetle from 600 cars to 120,000 cars without spending a single dollar on marketing and simply relied on word of mouth. If you now understand how Volkswagen used a combination of product, place and price to boost the sales of Beetle, the company finally used promotions, the 4th P, in 1959 when they were already soaring high, in order to enhance the sales and make an appeal for everything that Volkswagen Beetle stood for. And what is now fondly remembered as one of the best ads of the 20th century, the Think Small ad stood out to the audience for its extreme honesty. That's because while everyone in USA was spending more on luxurious vehicles, this anti-luxury and affordable messaging became cool among the younger generation of Americans and a new symbol of pop culture. Point 2 was finally also taken care of. So, this 4th P, or promotions, escalated the sales of Volkswagen Beetle from 120,000 in 1959 to 423,000 in 1968, the highest ever sales recorded for the Volkswagen Beetle in a single year in the USA. This is how a German car Volkswagen Beetle went from selling 600 units in 1950s to more than 400,000 units in 1968, which can be very easily understood using these 4 P's of marketing framework. Now in 1969, Heinrich Nordhoff passed away, and soon after that, the sales of Volkswagen Beetle started declining. Now this was mainly due to the increased competition in this market for small affordable cars. So what helped survive Volkswagen brand after the declining sales of Beetle? It was the acquisition strategy. Now even since Volkswagen was riding high with ever-growing sales of Beetle, they acquired the Auto Union brand in 1964, which we know today as the Audi brand. Now they continued this modus operandi of continuously acquiring brands regularly with the acquisition of NSU Motorrennwerke AG in 1969, Seat in 1990, Skoda in 1991, Lamborghini, Bentley and Bugatti in 1998. In fact, these purchases were made in a span of weeks. Scania in 1999, MAN in 2008, and Porsche in 2009. This rapid acquisition strategy made Volkswagen the largest automakers in the world due to 2 reasons. The diversification, which made them successful in mitigating risk like declining sales and bad brand image, as well as kept them updated with latest innovation, which they could learn from the newly acquired brand and make improvements across their entire catalog of companies to stay updated with the latest technologies. So friends, this is how Volkswagen went from a single destroyed manufacturing facility in Germany during World War II to the largest automaker group in the world. Now let's move on to the lessons that we can learn as business students or entrepreneurs from the rise of Volkswagen. First, embrace the Pareto Principle, just like Heinrich Nordhoff or Steve Jobs. Focus on the 20% and obsess over improving it by putting all the time, resources and money on it, and let go of controlling the remaining 80%, at least when you're starting a new business. Second, when approaching a big market or a market which is not very welcoming of your product, use a specific framework like the 4 P's of marketing to dissect the main issue into several different parts. See, if Nordhoff had simply thought that the Americans would never buy a German car, there would have been not a brand like Volkswagen today. However, he focused on why they hate the brand, leveraged this knowledge in his advantage, and simply followed a framework which is the first and the easiest chapter in a marketing book or in a business class. And third, diversification is key. For example, if you are a new entrepreneur who has started his own restaurant that is slowly getting famous and profitable, use this profit to build a second restaurant in area 2, and then use the profits from these 2 restaurants to buy a third restaurant in area 3. Now that way, say if tomorrow a bridge is built and the road bypasses your restaurant in area 1 and suddenly the sales start declining, you are still profitable in the remaining 2 locations. That's all from my side, friends. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please press the like button to keep me motivated. Comment what are your thoughts so I can make better videos. And for more awesome business, economic and geopolitical content, please subscribe to The Better Company. Thank you.